Hello class, today we're going to be talking about Okies, classism, and racism, and the first thing I'm going to cover is what is an Okie. And an Okie is refugee families that lived in the southern plains that were migrating to California in the 1930s and 20s to escape the ruin of the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression. They came from southern states including Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, New Mexico, and Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, that area. And they were escaping because of economic catastrophes and environmental problems like the Dust Bowl. There was dust flying everywhere and they didn't have anywhere to plant their crops, so they needed a new place to live. Many Jalopis faced hardships and traumas along their way to California. Lots of Okie families suffered through a drought, wind, and dust, along with the dust pneumonia on their way to California, and very bad dust storms. Families, as you can see in many pictures, went hungry and they had to travel on overloaded jalopies. Along with that, when they arrived to California, they were extremely unwelcomed and they were forced to live in squatter camps and fight for scarce jobs, or compete for scarce jobs as migrant laborers.
Racism in the 20s was very prominent in the US still. People of color were segregated daily for simple things such as water fountains. Colored people were treated very unfairly in social settings, and people of color still did not have equal rights, opportunities, or treatment. There were generational effects of racism in America. People of color taught their children and nephews and younger people in their family to teach white people with more respect to not be targeted against, I guess. And there were still many terrorist groups around at the time. A big known one is the KKK. They went around terrorizing colored people just because of the color of their skin. And colored families were taught their young ones precautions to take to avoid these groups, and they had to go out of their way for this.
This was a big era for classism and the real divide in classes. The middle class began to grow a lot because luxury items became more affordable due to the start of mass consumerism. And they started to live more luxurious and just shifted their way of life due to mass consumerism. Poorer people only got poorer because of the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. There was a fight for jobs, for like places to live and food, and they were sent to jail for unreasonable reasons. If a wealthy person committed the same crime as a poor person, the wealthy person would be sent off with a warning, while the poor person would be sent to jail for unreasonable reasons, so they already didn't have privilege.